Thank you to EA for giving me access to the preview build here of F1 2024. Please do note that this is a preview build. Things aren't final in this. The driver ratings you'll see are definitely not final. Some deliveries are not final. There's a few bugs here and there as to be expected. This is not the final build. But we're just going to be going through a little bit of gameplay today. So what you're going to be seeing in the background here is just a couple of the time trial laps that I've been doing. I would want to preface this by saying I am not a good driver at all. I play on controller. Obviously you can see I've got the corners racing line on. I play with a lot of assists on as well. I'm not a good driver at all, so don't look to me for driving skill. There'll be plenty of other creators out there that are much better than me that also play on wheel. That'll be able to give you a bit of insight into that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm on controller and definitely not good at all. So enjoy the many mistakes that I make here. So yeah, I just wanted to make this little bit of a video to show through some of the preview build footage that I have and just talk about a couple of the new features that I have in the game. So as you can see, I'm doing a lap around Silverstone at the moment, which has been reworked in this year's game, as has circuits like Spa as well. So you can now really feel the track much better. You can see every bump or the elevation changes much more accurately portrayed in the game as well. The curbs have been reworked so to more accurately match real life as well, and yeah, it's just a fun drive. Obviously there's the new reprofiled sections to Spa as well. They've also updated circuits such as Lusail and Jeddah to bring them more in line with the real life counterparts. Also they've updated, as you might be able to say, some of the graphics into the game to make it a bit more realistic as well. So they've added in different data. I won't pretend to understand all the technology they've used because frankly I don't understand all the technology they've used, but they've just made the whole game, to me at least, look better. It's a much better looking game. It could also be from the fact that I've recently moved from console to PC, much better PC nowadays as well, so that will help me make it look a little bit better as well. But they've definitely added new things into the game, as you may have seen here on YouTube and over on the F1 socials as well. They've reworked the drivers' faces to make the drivers look much more realistic as well there. And as you'll see in a separate video coming out later today, which will be a bit of actual Grand Prix gameplay as well. At the end of it, they've got the real life driver voiceovers, so for now they've added on new voice lines, for example, taken from real world F1 broadcasts, and it just adds much more realism to that as well, because it is the authentic driver reactions from how they've done in a race, and it makes it feel more immersive. And it's not just like when you're crossing the line, it's also if you crash out, for example, or you have a failure, you will hear some of the new voice lines as well. But the biggest new feature in terms of gameplay they've added in is the dynamic handling this year, and for me personally on controller, this does feel a lot better to me. So they've worked with the actual F1 drivers, especially the cover star Max Verstappen, to redefine how the car feels. There were certain aspects of the game in 2023 that drivers had said didn't feel very realistic, so they worked on that for this year's game. There's the new suspension kinematic system, so it better reacts to the loads that you're putting on the car as you go through certain sections, on the braking and acceleration as well. They've improved the tyre model, so now surface tyre temperature affects the tyre wear much more than it did before. There's new dynamic detailed aerodynamic simulation as well, so as you're following other cars, it will react more as you would expect in real life to be following real cars as well. You can now toggle, as you'll see, like I say in the race later on, your ERS settings once again. So you can now have it set to pure recovery, you can have it on your medium, you can have it on hot lap, or you can go to overtake. But also when you're doing your qualifying laps, you can have it on hot lap, activate a little bit of overtake here and then if you just want to get that bit of extra power out of certain corners, so you can really tailor your own qualifying laps really to yourself to see how you want it to be. And all of these new setups and changes really will make the game more tailored to you, or tailored to your driving style. So if you are someone that goes out and just push lap after push lap after push lap in your races, sort of like me, because I don't understand the car control, you will be able to feel it now through the actual car and the tyre wears. You won't be able to push as hard constantly, and if you do, you'll be expecting to make a lot more pit stops than you would have done before. And yeah, it feels more realistic, which is what we're all hoping for, surely. And it can be a good thing in my opinion. Now, like I say, other creators on Wheel will be able to give you better feedback on how it feels for them. I have never played with Wheel on any iteration of the game across PC or console, so that is definitely not something that I'm an expert at all. But yeah, for me, it feels so much better. And later on in this video, we'll be taking a quick look through driver career mode. We won't actually be doing a race in it, but we'll just take a look at the introduction to it and a couple of the new features there. But obviously new for this year as well is the challenge career, which is a new way for the community to play and experience the F1 season. So what it'll be is you'll have almost mini scenarios in effect, and you'll be able to test yourself against everyone else in the community. You'll have a community leaderboard as well. You'll be able to vote on the social media polls as well as to what you want the next one to be. So for example, it could be you are at Silverstone, for example, and your target is to get Lando Norris onto the podium, starting from 10th place. This isn't the scenario, I'm just going off hypothetical what it could be, and obviously you'll be able to set your own difficulty level, tune your assists, and that will scale your points. But it adds a better feel to career. It's a different aspect of career. It gives you a chance to test yourself against the best drivers in the same situations. In race situations, which you don't always get obviously in time trial, that is just pure pace, lap after lap after lap. But this is racing situations without having to be on multiplayer and, you know, worry about ruining someone else's races if you take a pretty poor line like I do and crash into them. The AI is, from what I've experienced so far, much more smart. They leave you space when you need to leave space, they'll make the move when you need to make the move, but they'll be clever about it. So it does bring a different aspect to that as well. And of course, 2-player career mode and my team has returned as well. Not so many changes from my team from what I've seen. I haven't played much of it to be able to say for sure. I've been mainly focusing on the time trial and driver career mode in there, but yeah, I'm sure someone will be able to go into a bit more detail on that as well. But 2-player career mode has all the features from driver career mode, which we are going to get into around. So, driver career mode, you can see here you have the options as you had in past years to start in F2 or jump to F1. I'm just quickly going through all the recommended. We're going with the actual career, the recommended, but you can see here the new things is you can play as the official driver. Now, remember, these ratings are not finalised, so don't pay much attention to them. But as you can see, I've scrolled across to the icon section and you can now do a driver career mode with the icons in the game. As you can see, I'm just having a quick scroll through them. You've got a couple of the esports drivers in there. You can take an F2 driver directly to F1 if you so want, or drive as the official F1 drivers. And as you can see up in the top corner, they have their own accolades as well, based on real life performances in the past. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go over and be an icon. And I know this is going to be blasphemous, but we're going to take Senna into a Red Bull, because what I want to show you is, as we just quickly go through all the tutorials, setups and back, I want to show you this new recognition system, which you can see in the top corner as well. As I scroll through the teams, you can see the different teams and different drivers will affect your recognition. Red Bull gives you the lowest one. You can select your teammate, as you would expect. I'm obviously going to go with Max Verstappen there as well, the current drivers champion. So this is a whole new feature. It's to be able to play as the drivers and as the previous icons. I'm going to shut up for just a little second while we go through this intro cutscene, which you'll see plenty of times as the game comes out, but this is the current intro cutscene to the driver career.
Finally, let's do this for real. Sorry it took so long. You know what these legal types are like? Yes sir, no sir, here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on, let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff, merchandising, likeness, blah blah blah, but the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
So what you're seeing right now is the new contract system. I'm just going to go set my target rating to the lowest. You can only select one season when starting, but this will also affect your recognition in game as well. So you can set your target rating to be highest, and you may have noticed as well from that means you have dynamic ratings in there. So how you perform in a race weekend will affect your ratings, and that goes across all of the qualifying sessions and the race sessions, sprint race sessions. The more you do in terms of your performance, the better you do, the better your ratings will go up. Similarly, if you avoid getting warnings, then that will also improve as well. New also to the game this year is your specialists, and you'll see here that I'll just scroll through a couple of them, and these give you different perks based on your performances in terms of these specialists. So you'll have seen with the very first one that my goal was just to complete a race weekend, nice and simple. Now you'll also notice that a lot of these specialists are currently unavailable, and you'll notice on the main menu that they will return in X amount of race weeks. So you can't just go ahead and select all of these specialists straight away. You have to build up over time. Now onto the contract screen, you can see my contract performance. So this is where we are in terms of our target, the recognition, which I'll come back to towards the end of the video. You can also review your contract, so if you're struggling a little bit in terms of your rating settings, you can lower that. Obviously you'll get a bit of penalty towards your recognition, but you can lower that as well. Now your accolades screen, so just scroll through, you can see the effect of different aspects of your ratings depending on how you do, and if you hit these targets, your ratings will get boosted, similarly to the rivalries that you're seeing right now. So obviously your teammate is a set rivalry over the season. The better you do against them, the better your points, your ratings will improve against each other. If they're beating you, then their ratings will also improve as well. You may have also noticed there that you can now also change your tyre allocations for the weekend once again, and you'll see here this little eye icon, which is Verstappen's next planned upgrade. Now because I have a certain amount of recognition, which we'll come to in one moment, that allows me one secret R&D upgrade every upgrade session basically, and obviously your teammates will be doing the same as well. So your goal is to get the highest amount of recognition against your teammates, so you can have more upgrades going at the same time. You can pick and choose the direction you want the car upgrades to go as well, and just more tune the car to yourself over your teammate potentially, which you'll see obviously with Red Bull in real life is quite a big thing. The car is more tuned towards Max Verstappen than it is Sergio Perez. You've got this little cutscene as well before the season starts. You can see here the drivers look so much better than last year as well. You get the grid lineup, which is quite nice this year as well, and obviously the drivers will change based on the driver transfers as well. And yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to jumping into this as well. I think my career that I'm going to play is going to be based starting in F2. You now get to choose a driver's academy as well, which will change obviously which team you can go to once you get to F1, or you can select none and just let your driving do the talking basically. So you can see there on the R&D screen I could press X and cycle between the different drivers basically and see what upgrades are. You can see here the recognition. Because I'm on 46%, we can rush an R&D, we get 2 simultaneous upgrades and 1 secret upgrade, and as this improves it can increase the amount of secret upgrades that we can do and the amount of simultaneous upgrades as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a little quick one. Like I say, later on today we will have the video out for a little bit of Grand Prix gameplay, but I'm very much looking forward to getting my hands on this game once it does come out. Let me know what you're looking forward to the most, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.